And yes, indeed, we are on weather alert this evening here at News 5 because of the potential for more damaging wind gusts tomorrow. But before we get to that windy forecast, let's take a moment to enjoy what we saw today. A high up near 60 in the Springs after a low at 20, and in Pueblo topping out at 47 degrees. Now, the windstorm impacts are going to really be the big story tomorrow. I'm talking about higher impacts because of wind that's going to peak between 11 and 5 p.m. for the I-25 corridor on the eastern slopes. Not expecting precip with this particular system. Visibility could be low to medium. Impacts in terms of blowing dust that could develop, and in terms of fire weather risks, that's expected to be a medium impact as well. We showed you this at the top of the newscast, but certainly worth repeating is this high wind warning. It goes into effect in the overnight hours. It does include parts of Boulder County, right near where the Marshall fire burned, and now parts of the News 5 viewing area, northern El Paso County, Teller County, and the Sangres. Strongest gust expected to develop as we head towards the latter part of the morning hours tomorrow. So tonight things are relatively calm. It's a nice night in the Springs at 43 degrees. Also checking in on Pueblo, where things are quite a bit colder down south across the Arkansas River Valley than what we're seeing in the Pikes Peak region, but also seeing light winds at this 10 o'clock hour. Take a look at the futurecast. I'm going to pause it first at 10 o'clock in the morning. Already seeing some of the stronger winds moving into the Palmer Divide, and also getting some pretty good gusts coming out into Huerfano County from the Wet Mountain Valley and the Sangres. I think they'll even get stronger as we stop this again around noon. Modeling now showing gusts potentially as high as 60 plus. Monument to the Springs, also Woodland Park. And notice the winds really taper off as you head east to the plains, at least for areas along and south of Highway 50. That's not a spot that I'm overly concerned with. It's mainly north of Highway 50. Generally along the eastern slopes of the Front Range is where we'll see some of the stronger gusts. And I think generally between about 4 and 6 p.m., most of the stronger winds should start to weaken. So if you want to get outside to hike or exercise, I would do it very early in the morning. By 10, you already want to plan to be wrapping up the hike or the outdoor exercise. Gust to 60 at 2 o'clock and gust around 20 to 40 even as we head towards 5 p.m. So high winds the story on Tuesday, and I think those strong winds will linger into Wednesday as well as we get a cold front that brings in another round of cold air and a little bit of moisture. Been talking about this since late last week. Snow chances fairly minimal south of the Palmer Divide. And you can see on the snow accumulation map, I've generally kept the accumulation out east into the plains or Teller County, northern parts of El Paso County, those spots expecting a trace to 2 inches, whereas in the Springs, maybe a dusting on the north side of town, but the farther south you go, the likelihood of any sort of accumulation, very, very slim. Overnight lows tonight, quite a bit of variety here. On the eastern slopes of the mountains, fairly mild in comparison to what we saw a few nights ago, whereas the mountain valleys still quite cold. Tomorrow's highs into the 50s across the plains will warm to near 40 in Woodland Park and 41 expected around the Saguache region. Now the super 7-day forecast in Colorado Springs, very strong winds Tuesday, but let's do a breakout on Wednesday and talk about the potential for any sort of snowfall. Break down those snow chances by the hour. Look at this, 3 p.m. up to around 20%. I think the best chance comes late afternoon to early evening, so it could impact the evening commute. Best chance of that would be north up towards the Palmer Divide and into Teller County. Very cold behind the system with a high Thursday, 27 degrees. In Pueblo, I think it's mostly wind for the next 2 days, although a few flurries could fly Wednesday night. By Thursday, it's just cold with a high of 25. Canyon City, we're in the 50s through Wednesday. Maintain the chance of a few flurries or flakes here Wednesday night. Otherwise, our next chance for precip doesn't come till Saturday. And for Woodland Park, very windy tomorrow with an impact scale 4 out of 5. Could see some damage to trees and some property damage as well during the day on Tuesday. Diane.
Alan.